Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Road. Today, we're finally making the video. Well, I've already made it, but you're finally watching the video. My thoughts on Microsoft. Let's dive straight in. So first things first, Microsoft has been around for a very long time. And it is still one of the biggest companies of all time. And it's got so many different brands it owns, or is part of, that it is unreal. So we're going to talk about the main points and the most basic things and my overall thoughts. So first things first, it started off and it was a very big, very good company that thought about basically the future, and it designed a lot of interfaces. It was the head of computing for a very, very long time. It made mobile phones. It made like user interfaces like Windows XP, Windows Home, Windows Office. All those are Microsoft. It eventually made Xbox, which is arguably one of the best consoles ever. Okay, not arguably one of the best, but arguably the best. In my opinion, it's the best. But that's my opinion. That's not really going into the video because it's just my opinion. That's all opinion based. But everyone has got to admit, if you don't admit it, you're a fool, that Microsoft has been an extremely good and wealthy company since the start. Now, it started off and it was listening to the community all the time. It was making changes that people wanted, all that, and it was great. It made phones that were great, that were very similar to its computers, so it was very user-friendly because everything was the same interface. But then, recent years, Microsoft decided to stop the manufacture of phones, which a lot of mobile phone users that used Microsoft were a little bit disappointed because they now had to switch to either iOS or Android. The choices was theirs. Now, it took over a lot of companies, but the main one that it kind of like joined forces with was Nokia. Good old Nokia 3310 was no longer in production. Neither was any other Nokia, because they kind of went downhill a lot. If you want to see a full video on my thoughts on Nokia, that'll be the next video. So, 10 views on this one, it'll be Nokia. But, back to it. So, Microsoft and Nokia became one. And Microsoft then stopped production of their phones to then work on the Nokia ones. So, Nokia phones are actually Microsoft made. And the interface is made by Microsoft and all that. Which is why they're very similar to Microsoft phones. And like they work really well with Microsoft Windows, because they are part of the same company. That's a lesser known fact, but that is a major fact that people tend to forget or not know. And that has actually allowed them to do a lot of like innovative things that other companies just haven't done. And it's been a long time since the last Microsoft phone. It's been such a good time for Nokia. They've brought it back up to the competitors. And, Microsoft has done really well in terms of phones over the last 10 years. And I respect them for that. But the thing I would like to say is that Microsoft phones are not what they used to be. They aren't top of the range anymore. They are middle of the range, which is kind of what Microsoft is now. They used to be like a premium brand, but now they're middle of the range. So if you want, a middle of the range thing, Microsoft is your best bet. Like, it's very affordable. Sometimes it's free. Windows 10 is my favorite and one of the most highly rated user interfaces in terms of computing ever. And that is a very, very big thing for Microsoft to actually have, including Xbox. That people have rated the interface of Xbox extremely high as well. Everything Microsoft has made in terms of interfaces, which what they focus on, has been rated extremely well. And that is a very respectable thing. So in terms of that, my opinion on Microsoft is that they are going to keep going. I think they're going to keep pushing it to the next limit. And potentially, over the next few years, we might see Microsoft make premium versions and the middle of the range. And potentially even bottom of the range items or interfaces or whatever, to be part of their range of devices, interfaces, everything, and potentially will become a huge competitor to the likes of Apple and Android itself. I know technically Microsoft uses Android features and is part of like the Android group, but potentially it might branch off in the next few years and form its own interface. But like what it did when the Microsoft phones were a thing, it might create its own and potentially be a competitor with Samsung and iOS, because they are, well, Samsung and Apple are the biggest two. That is it. There is no others that are as big as those two companies. And it would be really cool to see another third competitor, a third choice into the mix. I think that would be a very cool thing to see, and very different to what we see now with the basic two competitors. Everyone else is really just limelights or using their things. So I reckon that would be a very cool thing for Microsoft to do, and it might even get them a lot of attraction. And depending on how they do it, I might even want to switch over back to Nokia and back to Microsoft stuff. I obviously stick with Microsoft like Windows 10 and stuff, but I switched over to Samsung phones and Samsung tablet stuff. I may want to switch over to permanent Microsoft stuff. Who knows? It might be a thing. I'm not sure. But thank you for guys watching. Take care. I'll see you guys in the next one.